Something I've come to realize over the years as I've gotten older is the importance of comfort games. These are the games we return to when nothing new is grabbing our attention, when we've had a bad day at work or school and just need to play something that you know will take the edge off and provide a relaxing game night. You know, sometimes you don't want to learn new game mechanics, focus up on a new world with extensive lore, or be a couple hours into a new game and realize you're just not feeling it and now your free time is gone for the evening. But thankfully, there's always comfort games to fall back on that'll always be there for moments like that. And today I just want to talk about the games I always find myself going back to, for one reason or another. And be sure to leave your comfort games in the comments section. I'm really curious to hear everyone's comfort games. Black Ops 2 Zombies. From COD 4 up until Black Ops 2, I was a very avid Call of Duty player. It was easily my most played franchise up to that point, and I still do return to COD 4 to play a few matches here and there. The first Black Ops or World at War, I'll do the same. But out of all of the COD games, the one I return to the most is Black Ops 2. Sometimes for the multiplayer, but mostly for the zombies. There's just something special about the maps from Black Ops 2 Zombies. Mob of the Dead, Buried, Origins. The design of these maps are unmatched. A couple of years ago is when I really started coming back to this game a lot, and it'd been so long since I'd played these maps with the boys that I'd actually forgotten how a lot of these maps actually worked. I had to relearn them again a little bit, and that in itself was a ton of fun. Figuring out how to build the plane on Mob of the Dead and craft the acid gat. Get all 7 perks on Buried and set up traps in a cheesy way to reach massive high rounds. All of this was so damn fun again. And once you reach the point where you know the map like the back of your hand, it's really just relaxing to go into a zombies match and flow, knowing exactly what to do and how to do it efficiently. Even Town is a great map to just fart around on and casually grind high rounds. Another reason Black Ops 2 Zombies gives me the comfort vibes is the art direction and the sound design of these maps. Truly some of the most impressive game design to really get you immersed into the maps. Typically I've been playing these maps solo, but I was talking to a buddy of mine about how great these maps were just a few months ago, and it got him excited to reinstall and play through all the maps with me again, and it's something we're still doing a few times a month to this day. But I do want to talk a bit more about my personal favorite map, Mob of the Dead. Mob of the Dead was the second DLC Zombies map released with the Uprising map pack, and takes place inside the sinister prison of Alcatraz. Some of the greatest characters in Zombies or even video game history, voiced by absolute legends like Ray Liotta, who voiced Billy Handsome, or Michael Madsen, who voiced Finn. The dialogue and style of these characters paired up with the zombie-infested prison is just too damn good. The map brought a lot of new mechanics like the afterlife, which is required to complete a majority of the tasks on the map, like turning on power switches, reviving yourself, and even clearing enemies out of the way temporarily. The map is so intelligently designed with its many pathways that loop back to each other or connect in a way that you don't expect. Things like feeding the Hellhounds to unlock the Hell's Retriever Tomahawk, solving small puzzles to find the plane parts, it all flows so well, and it's fun to do. The Warden spawns keep you on your toes so you don't allow them to disable perk machines, traps, or the mystery box. You gotta know what you're doing on this map to be successful and have a chance at the high rounds. And I think the best part about any Zombies map is that initial sprint to get set up as fast as possible. Spending points and afterlife charges efficiently, then finally crafting the plane and pack-a-punching my best guns on the bridge. After doing that as fast as possible, it's just dumb fun from then on. And out of all of the amazing Zombies maps from Treyarch games, I do think that Black Ops 2 Mob of the Dead is my all-time favorite map in the entire franchise. Age of Empires 2 released when I was just a little kid, and it was one of the first PC games I ever played on my parents' home computer. And now, 25 years later, it's still a game I play regularly. There's just something relaxing about medieval real-time strategy games. Building up an empire, villages, military, managing economies, it's just so cathartic for some reason. As a kid, I was definitely addicted to this game. I'd get up in the middle of the night sometimes and sneak my way onto the computer and play until morning, right before my parents woke up. And now it's a game I'll come home to relax and play with a podcast on in the background, and sometimes I stay up a little bit too late. Like the old days. And just like when I was a kid, I usually only play regicide matches where the goal is to destroy the other kingdom's kings. No other goal than just victory by war of attrition. All-out destruction is what I'm all about in this game. Now I also think I need to spend a minute praising the soundtrack of this game. Every time you load it into a match, just that dark yet inspiring music kicking in. Or when this shit starts in the middle of a battle. Or this track coming in while you're getting destroyed. God, this music is so memorable. What else keeps AoE 2 going strong after these 25 years is the fact that it has a massive amount of content between the many campaigns, game modes against AI, custom map creator, and online multiplayer matches. Sometimes if I'm tired of clapping bots in Regicide, I'll go play through some of the campaigns, or mess around in the custom map creator to make an insane battleground. And if you haven't played this game, the remaster released a few years ago and is a perfect chance to get into it today. And it's on Game Pass. Fallout New Vegas. I have such a big backlog of single-player RPGs I want to get to, but this game keeps getting in the way of any hopes I have of ever playing them. Every time I sit down and think, maybe I'll finally start the Dragon Age series, or get back into Baldur's Gate 3, I end up saying, nah, let's just do another playthrough of New Vegas. When I first played this game in 2020, I didn't expect to end up loving it the way I have, but it's a game I don't think I'll ever get enough of, even 400 hours later now. Patrolling the Mojave Desert with my 6-shooter and my hunting rifle, exploring all the nooks and crannies, talking to the goofy-ass characters, it's just so goddamn addicting and relaxing. There's a certain kind of magic with this game that will always keep me coming back for another playthrough. So many different kinds of playthroughs that you can experiment with. The possibilities are truly endless with New Vegas, and no two playthroughs are the same. A game with such basic gameplay, simple graphics, endless bugs and glitches, yet something so special I don't think will ever be replicated again in the games industry. I think one of the best ways to know if a game is great is if it hooks you within the first few hours, and New Vegas has one of the best intros into a game that I think should be studied by all future and current game devs on how to do an RPG introduction correctly. You've got an interesting story setup that provides the basic context of the world you're about to explore, and why your character is there. A place to learn basics of combat, crafting, repair, reputation with towns and factions, learning how skill checks will affect quest outcomes and potentially lead to new branching quests, and by the end of it, you'll have a solid understanding of how the game works on a fundamental level, covering all the information you're ever going to need in about an hour or two. That's what the New Vegas intro does so well, and why I felt confident to go explore the rest of the world, having a more solid grasp on what I'm doing. The sheer number of quests and different outcomes is astonishing, and the fact that this game was made in 18 months makes it all that much more impressive. Obsidian were truly cooking while creating this game, and I think that's owed to the fact that some of the developers have said while they were making New Vegas, many of them felt like they were creating a true passion project and wanted to do as much as possible in the short time they had. They ended up making one of the greatest RPGs of all time. Smite. Smite is the only MOBA I've ever played really, and it's probably going to stay that way. I started playing in 2016 on the Xbox One, and 8 years later, I still hop on and play a few matches to unwind at the end of the day. But I only do one thing: Arena 5v5. And I only use Neath or Tyr. Don't ask me how to play anything else because I don't know, and I don't care. Just give me one of these two characters in an open arena, and let me get to slaying the enemies. I think a reason I find Smite Arena so fun is just how fast-paced and intense some of the matches can be. It's incredibly addicting to keep building up your power through crit chance and attack speed. I'm basically always working with a glass cannon build of some kind, but it's so damn satisfying. Sometimes though, being on the wrong side of an ass whooping is really frustrating, but I think that's the experience in almost any multiplayer game, especially MOBA games. I'm also a really big fan of the third-person combat perspective versus other MOBAs that are top-down like League and Dota. I only really like a top-down perspective for RTS games, not so much in action games. And again, I don't know anything about this game other than Arena, Neath, Tier, and how to build those characters the way I like. And you know what? I like it that way. Simple, addicting, fun gameplay that I always come back to.
Be gone.
Double kill. Triple kill. Killing spree. An enemy has been bested. Quadra kill.
Another game I also started playing back in 2016 and still play to this day is Rocket League. What started out as a fun party game with friends to goof around in private matches after a raid night in Destiny quickly became a new addiction as I constantly sought to get better and improve my skills over time. It's such a simple game, soccer with cars, but the level of depth and complexity, teamwork, and game knowledge is actually pretty insane. At some point I did hit my skill ceiling and I stopped playing it as much, where after many hours of grinding ranked throughout the years, I only ever peaked at champ once, and I'll likely never do that again. But I still come back all the time to spend game nights with the boys in casual, sweat our balls off in the insane drop shot mode, and sometimes just chill out to the great soundtracks while running through some training courses. And I don't think I'll ever stop playing this game because every match is still so intense and competitive. That desire to win takes over my mind no matter what, even in a casual match, but I'm still able to have fun while doing so. Really one of the only games that I enjoy playing like a sweat in. Dark Souls is more than just a game to me. It's an experience. Lordran is a world that consumed me for a very long time when I first started playing, and one that I always revisit multiple times a year. Hundreds of hours and dozens of characters later, I still chase that feeling this game originally gave me all those years ago. The world is horrifying, inviting, familiar, the characters are charming, sinister, and heroic, the boss fights are epic and intense with unforgettable set pieces and designs. It's all so magical. There's an underlying tone set by the NPCs and the narrative that you mustn't give in to the harsh world, and instead must push forward, and persevere to the end. It's something that will always stay with me. The biggest reason I come back is to recapture those nostalgic feelings, but I always stay because exploring the world and progressing through the game is enjoyable every single time, especially in the first act of the game. The progression in Dark Souls up until Ornstein and Smough is probably the most perfect gameplay experience ever crafted in gaming. One of my favorite things about the game is that because I've spent so much time playing it, I'm able to realistically complete an entire playthrough, including the DLC, in probably 15 hours and still experience the whole game. A first playthrough, there's no way to achieve that, but I like that an experienced player can knock it out very quickly if you know what you're doing. And I've recommended this game over a dozen times on my channel, and if for some reason you still haven't played through it, this is another reminder that you absolutely should. You won't regret it once you see the credits roll. And lastly, Battlefield 1. Just like Smite and Rocket League, I've been playing Battlefield 1 since 2016, and is easily in my top 3 FPS games of all time. The immersion and intensity of an operations game is unmatched. The large-scale battles taking place on these epic real-world locations that last almost an hour. The boys and I hop on this game all the time and play some matches, always saying, let's just play one more after every op completes. I just can't get over how realistic and immersive this game is. It's probably the biggest reason I get the desire to play it so often. When you're in the middle of a battle, fighting off waves of enemy troops, coordinating attacks on tanks, avoiding or shooting down bomber planes, it always feels so damn real. The gunplay is satisfying, the equipment is fun to use and downright badass. Even if you're not actively engaged in any gunplay of your own, role-playing as Desmond Doss as a medic and just saving as many people as you can is also such a nasty fun way to play the game. And I don't hesitate to say that Battlefield 1 might just be the most immersive war game ever created. And those are just a list of my major comfort games. Of course, there's always a few more that I go back and play at times. Older classics I grew up with, like Pokemon Red and Blue, or even Guitar Hero. I still have my OG PS2 guitar I play with on occasion. But these games are the ones I revisit the most often. Let me know your list down in the comments section below, and I'll see you all in the next one.